Dariel, a soldier in the Demon King's army and an assistant to the four generals, gets fired by the current leader of the four generals, Bashbarza. Dariel tells him that Bashbarza's father, Grand Mazar, appointed him and asks what he did wrong. Bashbarza simply tells him that his father is no longer one of the generals and he's being fired since he's too weak and unable to use magic, which makes him a useless demon. Seeing that his mind is made up, Dariel collects his belongings and leaves. After wandering the wilderness for days, lost and wondering what a 32-year-old man like him would do, Dariel collapses from hunger. Suddenly, a girl jumps over him being chased by a giant gorilla. Seeing that she's in danger, Dariel shields the girl from the ape but gets knocked down. Noticing the girl's knife, he swallows his pride as a demon and grabs the human weapon. Copying the move of the hero he once saw fighting against Grand Mazar, Dariel thrusts the knife into the gorilla's chest, killing it. Not wanting to get involved with humans, Dariel starts to walk away, but the girl pulls his cape, telling him that he needs to come to her village where she can thank him with a tasty meal. Dariel, hearing that he's going to be fed, lets the girl drag him to her village, Lux. Taking him to her home, the girl Marika introduces him to her parents, Erica and Gilmaz. When they ask what he was doing in the forest, Dariel tells them that he got fired by his former employer's son and had to leave. Looking at Marika, Dariel notices that she's crying. She tells him that they have a lot of empty rooms so he can stay here with them, to which he agrees. The next day, Gilmaz tells him that he's the village guild master and can help him register as an adventurer. Dariel, knowing that the appraisal magic kills demons, tries to run away, but Marika pierces his finger and places it on the parchment. Erupting with light, the magic forms a rune on his hand, telling Dariel that he's E-rank and making him realize that he's been a human all along. Taking him out to see what sort of weapon he can use, Gilmaz teaches him how to use his aura. He tells him about the 4 types of attack: hit, protect, sting, and slash, and tells Dariel to try out different weapons to see what he's good with. However, Gilmaz is shocked when sees that Dariel is proficient in all 4 attributes, which makes him jealous and wonder what his 30-year career as an adventurer even means. When Dariel asks if his ability is rare, Gilmaz tells him that he's never seen any with his abilities. He tells Dariel that his potential will be held back if he stays in the village and tells him to go to the central guild. Dariel, seeing Marika crying silently, tells Gilmaz that he will be staying since he still needs to pay them back for their hospitality, which makes her happy. Gilmaz, who is also the mayor, introduces Dariel to everyone in the village. A young boy who is the only other adventurer in Lux, Gashida, instantly starts to boast that he's a higher rank than him and walks away. Gilmaz apologizes on his behalf and hopes that he can inspire Gashida to change his ways. As he gives Dariel his first herb-collecting quest, Gilmaz tells Dariel that Gashida took on a quest to hunt a monster. Looking at the quest, Marika tells him that Dariel already killed the monster. Gashida, angry that Dariel took his target down, forcefully thanks Dariel. Grabbing another quest, he quickly runs away, telling Dariel that he'll show him who's the better adventurer. Giving Dariel his experience, Gilmaz congratulates him on ranking up. With Marika finally ready, they both set out to collect the herbs. When he asks why she enters the forest alone, she tells him that a lady in the village is sick and needs them. Since Gashida won't collect them, she has to go instead. As they venture deeper inside, Marika grabs his hand and starts to lead him so they don't get separated. As they start collecting the herbs, Dariel is shocked when he sees her easily picking up entire logs. Spotting a deer near them, they both decide to hunt it down. However, the deer starts battling with a giant ant which surprises them both. Hunting them both down, they return to the village. Gashida, seeing that Dariel took the ant that he was supposed to kill, runs away in anger. The next day, Gilmaz tells Dariel that Gashida has gone after a C-rank mission to hunt down a blazed Deathside. Worrying that he might get injured, he asks Dariel to follow him and make sure he's alright. Before he sets out, Marika gives him a pouch of medicine for the road. Following Gashida, Dariel is shocked when he notices that the trail left behind by the Deathside is massive. Right at that moment, he spots Gashida running for his life with Deathside right on his tail. Dariel, blinding the Deathside in one eye, tries to block the second attack, however his sword shatters. Grabbing a piece of his shattered sword, Dariel combines hit and sting and throws the fragment into the Deathside's mouth, killing it. Seeing that he's stung, Dariel starts to wrap up Gashida's wound and gives him an antivenom that Marika gave him, telling him that he learned all this from lower-ranked quests. From that day onwards, Gashida started to look at Dariel like a big brother, following him around everywhere. Meanwhile, back at the Demon King's castle, things had started to go amok. One of the generals, Duroy, tells Bashbarza to reconsider his stance on Dariel since he took care of everything. However, enraged by hearing Dariel's name, Bashbarza tells her not to say it ever again. Gashida starts to follow Dariel around everywhere. Even though he can be much to handle, he compares nothing to Marika and her sheer brute strength. That night, Dariel asks Gilmas why the village, despite having a lot of homes, has so few people. Gilmas, showing him a map of the village, tells Dariel that there used to be a mithril mine that attracted a lot of the people to the village, but it soon got overrun by demons. As things are now, Luck's village is destined to slowly die. Knowing that he used to manage the mines while he was in the Demon King's army, Dariel enters the mine the next day where the Knocker's low-ranking demons greet him with happiness. As they gather around him for head pats, they tell Dariel that their work has gotten a lot harder since Lord Bashbarzet is demanding 4 times as much mithril, and tell him they were happy under his management since he was the only one who remembered their names. Suddenly, the demon soldiers enter the mine and Dariel quickly hides to observe them. The demon's commander tells them to have their shipment ready by tomorrow or there will be consequences. One of the Knockers, grabbing a shovel, hits the commander on the head. The commander instantly turns around and tells his men to kill them all. Seeing the soldiers hesitate, Dariel quickly masks his face and intervenes, telling the men that according to the demon laws, if they kill a single non-combatant, they are committing murder. Seeing that their commander is still ordering them to attack, the demons decide to follow him and prepare to use magic. Since it takes a few seconds to cast the spell, Dariel, using his sheathed sword, quickly starts to take the demons down and makes his way to the commander. Knocking him down and slicing his hair off, Dariel tells him to go back and resign. The commander, fearing for his life, instantly agrees and runs away. Returning home, Dariel tells Gilmas that he retook the mine and asks him to work with the Knockers. With the mine back in their hands, people start to rush back to Lux. Turning to Dariel, Gilmas thanks him for helping out since he thought the village was slowly going to die out. As Bashbarzet sits in a library working on creating a powerful magic spell, one of the 4 generals, Zebians, tells him that they have lost the mithril mine, and the Demon King himself has a complaint for him. Going to see what the Demon King has to say, the Demon King tells him that he's dumber than he thought he was and forces Bashbarzet to apologize. Before he leaves, he tells Bashbarzet to ask Dariel to help him out more since he is quite competent, which enraged Bashbarzet, but he keeps it to himself. Meanwhile, back in Luck's village, just as Marika is about to ask Dariel to be her husband, Dariel hears a commotion. Going to see what's going on, he notices that adventurers from Campbelltown have arrived. Their leader, Fitabitan, showing that he's rank B, tells Dariel that they will take over the work related to the mine since they are still novices. Seeing Gashida acting out, he tells Dariel to keep a leash on him. Dariel tells him that he doesn't need a leash since Gashida spotted the death scythe in Lux that adventurers from Campbell were supposed to defeat. Gashida, stepping forward, tells Fitabitan that Dariel defeated it, which surprises everyone so much that they start to boast Dariel for saving them. The next day, a member of the Central Guild, Frid, asks Dariel to help in the negotiations with the Knockers since they won't talk to anyone else but him. Dariel tells him that the Knockers were terrorized by demons and asks what will happen if the negotiations fail. Frid tells him that that isn't an option since their full cooperation is required for them to mine the mithril. Going to the mine with him, Frid is shocked when the Knockers instantly agree to work with them when Dariel tells them to. As he steps out of the mine, Dariel notices a demon communication portal in the sky. Quickly going to investigate, Dariel finds his old friend Lizard. Telling his men to fall back, Lizard embraces Dariel, telling him that everything has been a mess since he left and tells him to come back. Dariel, realizing that Lizard deserves to know the truth, tells him that he cannot return since he's a human and the top officers fired him. Lizard tells him that Doroy wants him back as well, but Dariel refuses, saying that he has a life here now. He tries to capture him with magic, but Dariel easily dispels his attack and asks if he wants to buy mithril. Taking him back to the village, Dariel introduces him to Bisfrid and tells him that the demons would like to buy mithril at market value. Fitabitan, who is against the idea, tries to attack Lizard, but Dariel blocks his attack, telling him that mithril is trivial as compared to lives and this way there will be no more bloodshed over it. Bisfrid, telling Fitabitan to back off, agrees to share the mithril. Gilmas tells Dariel to go and see the old abandoned mithril smithy that used to be in the village. Arriving at the location, Dariel notices that it has already been taken over by Fitabitan and his men, who just tells him to go back since everything is under control. Telling Gilmas what happened, he is not surprised since the defense of the mine was under Campbell. They lost their jobs when it was retaken. Now when the smithy is about to bring in profits, they are trying to take it. Suddenly Marika rushes over and tells Dariel that an old strange man tried to touch her. Going to see who it is, Dariel tells the man that he crossed the line, but he just tells Dariel that he's an incompetent adventurer with a dull blade. Marika, hearing him badmouth Dariel, tells him that Dariel took down a massive snake. The man, feeling Dariel's hands, is surprised when he learns that Dariel has all 4 attributes. Telling him that his name is Smith and that he's a mithril weapons forger, Smith shows them his invitation letter from the Central Guild. Taking him to Smithy, Smith forges him a giant sword using mithril. Dariel, after infusing it with mana, is surprised at how light it is. Testing it out, Dariel easily cuts a tree down. Smith takes the weapon back, telling Dariel that this is only a prototype, and he will make him a weapon that is truly his. Taking him with him, Smith shows Dariel another mithril smithy that his apprentice, Sakai, had set up for them. Seeing that the forge requires demon magic to start, Dariel calls Lizette, who happily ignites it for them. Later, Fitabitan approaches Dariel and tells him that the Central Guild is exploiting Lux by taking over the mine and extends his hand to fight against them. Dariel refuses, saying that he won't side with him since he hurt a lot of things he loved ever since he came here. Fitabitan takes off his glove and throws it at Dariel, challenging him to a duel. The next day, Dariel arrives to fight Fitabitan, who is clad in mithril armor, while Dariel only carries a knife that Smith had made for him. As the fight begins and Fitabitan starts to boast, Dariel instantly smashes his shoulder armor to pieces. Realizing that his blade changes when infused with aura, Fitabitan gets serious. However, Dariel easily starts to break all of his weapons and armor until he gets thrown out of the arena. That night, Bisfrit apologizes on Fitabitan's behalf and invites Dariel to join the Central Guild. That night, while Dariel is in the sauna, someone enters the room. Thinking it's Gashida, Dariel looks to the side and is surprised when he sees Marika. Dariel, who is completely taken aback, is unable to utter a single word. Marika tells him that she just wanted to thank him for everything he did, and since he's sure to leave for the Central Guild, she just wanted to spend more time with him. Seeing that she's hiding her true feelings, Dariel tells her that he's not going to leave since her family gave him a home when he had nowhere to go. Seeing that she is crying with happiness, Dariel kisses her, realizing that he has found another reason to stay in Lux. Meanwhile, back at the Demon King's castle, Grandmazar asks Bashbarza about Dariel. Bashbarza tries to lie his way out, but Grandmazar sees right through him and punches him, telling him that complaints from the other demons have reached him. Bashbarza, mad that he's being looked down upon, tells Grandmazar that he doesn't need Dariel to guide him and will achieve success through his own abilities. The next day, Gilmaz calls Dariel over and tells him that he's not getting any younger and asks him to take over the responsibilities as the mayor of the village since he is well known and respected. Dariel, accepting his position, also asks for Marika's hand in marriage, to which he agrees. A year goes by and Dariel, putting wine on Smith's grave, tells him that Lux is still flourishing, thanking him for everything he taught him. Returning home, he is greeted by Marika and his little son, Gran, whom he named after Grandmazar, someone he loved like a father. Suddenly, Gashida runs in, telling Dariel that the current hero is about to visit them. Thinking that the hero might recognize him, Dariel hides his face to greet him. However, much to his surprise, the hero is a young girl named Lady, followed by her party members Sadam and Sesha. When he tells her that he expected the hero to be someone else, Lady tells him that the hero suffered a serious wound fighting against one of the 4 generals, so he retired. As he shows them around the town, Lady requests for some mithril weapons. Seeing that she is speaking oddly, Dariel looks over and realizes that she is reading notes from her hand. Taking her to his home where she is going to stay, Dariel introduces her to Marika and Gran. Seeing Lady feistily asking to hold Gran, Dariel realizes that she must really like children. Waking up Lady the next day, Dariel takes her and her party to see the mithril smithy, which is bustling with people, and introduces them to Sakai, who has now taken over after Smith passed away. Appraising their abilities, Sakai instantly gets to work. Turning to Dariel, she tells him that the second thing she wants is to find a 4th member for her party. Gashida, who had overheard her, tells her to leave that to him and arranges an event for her to decide which one to choose. People from all over the village participate. The objective was simple, to defeat the hero's party, however, not even a single one was able to land a hit. Suddenly, sensing aura, Lady dodges an arrow as it shoots past her. Looking towards the trees, she notices Gashida trying to snipe her. Evading all his attacks, Lady prepares to use a powerful. Dariel, seeing that Gashida is in trouble, simply throws an apple at Lady, which disrupts her attack. Lady, walking up to him, tells Dariel that he's actually the strongest one and challenges him to a duel. Dariel tries to tell her that he's retired, but she attacks him without a warning and he's forced to defend. As she relentlessly attacks him and Dariel keeps on blocking all her attacks, Sesha and Sadam watch in awe as she is fighting for real. Dariel, seeing that she is about to use her most powerful attack, the same one the previous hero did, neutralizes it by copying her. After the fight, Lady, along with her party members, beg Dariel to join their party, but he refuses and quickly walks away, saying that he has work. That night, as Dariel feeds Gran, Lady comes over and asks him to join them once more, but he refuses, saying that he wants to see his son grow up and that there are a lot of things that he needs to do around the village. When she asked if he considers them more important than defeating the Demon King, Dariel only tells her he does not know if it's more important and that all he can do is take care of things with his 2 hands. The next entire day, Lady along with Saddam follows Dariel around as he goes around taking care of things around the village. Seeing how hard he works, Saddam tells her that maybe the things that someone considers more important depend on who they are. That night, talking to Dariel in private, Lady inquires how he learned to use the hero's special attack. Dariel tells her that he has no idea and he just copied what she was doing. She tells him that he can read a hero's swordplay and yet doesn't choose to fight. Dariel tries to tell her that the demons only fight to defend themselves, but she pushes the notion away, saying that the previous hero, Alancel's entire family, was brutally murdered by the demons. Dariel tells her about his fight in mind and that everyone is the same. Seeing how kind-hearted he is, Lady realizes that he must not be drawn into battle. However, she asks Dariel to train her, to which he agrees. The next day, as Lizette meets up with Dariel, Zebians finally learns where Dariel is. As they sit down to talk about current affairs and Lizette plays with Gran, Zebians suddenly pops up in front of them, taking them both by surprise. Using Lizette as a chair, she tells Dariel that it has been so long that she started to forget his face and that Deroy has been searching everywhere for him. She tells Dariel that he's always been average-looking and incompetent. Dariel, spotting Marika, tries to tell her that she's a guest, but she throws a cork past her head and tells her to take a proper seat, scaring Zebians. She tells Dariel that she's here for the mithril and orders him to hand it over. As Driel tries to speak up that he cannot just do so, Zebians gets up and tells him that he needs to be taught some manners. However, one look from Marika scares the life out of her again. Taking her outside, Zebians challenges Dariel to a duel for setting the village girl on her. Telling Lizette to stay out of it, Dariel easily takes out Zebians, who challenges him again and again, but each time is defeated. When she finally agrees to buy some mithril, Dariel takes Zebians to the smithy. Realizing that Lady is about to return, he tells Sakai to distract Zebians as he takes care of Lady. Despite trying to keep them busy the entire day, they both run into each other in the sauna. As he starts to be interrogated later on, Dariel realizes that he cannot keep it hidden forever and tells them that he is a human who was raised among demons, surprising both Zebians and Lady. However, seeing that Lady is still not accepting Zebians, Marika proposes that they should duel to decide. Dariel agrees on the condition that they will not kill each other. The next, as they both fight to see who's better, Gran jumps into the middle of the battle to play with them. Seeing that he's about to get hurt by a falling rock, Dariel, Lady, and Zebians all shield him. Putting their differences aside, both Lady and Zebians end up becoming friends, seeing how good chemistry they have. Running over to Dariel, Sesha tells him that he just encountered an amazing individual. Going to see who it is, Dariel is shocked when he sees the previous hero, Alancel, standing in his doorway. As he gets swarmed by children, Dariel quickly tells her to leave and not to use magic since he can detect it and will no doubt kill her. When they are finally alone, Dariel asks Alancel what he's doing here and he tells him that he came after Lady. Turning to her, he tells her that he was too hasty in sending her off and that his wounds have now fully healed. Dariel takes them both to the training grounds so Alancel can see how much Lady has improved. Lady, despite trying her hardest, is unable to land a single hit on Alancel, who is busily signing autographs. When he tells her that she has improved, Lady tells him that Dariel has been teaching him. Calling Dariel into the ring, Alancel challenges him to a fight. Seeing that the former hero is too powerful for him to handle, Dariel quickly makes an excuse and invites him to have lunch first. As they sit down to eat, Zebians, who is quite a distance away, accidentally ends up using magic. Alancel instantly senses it and goes straight to kill her. Seeing that she's in trouble, Dariel quickly intervenes. Alancel tells him that they will have their match later and tells him to back off, but Dariel tells him that he will not allow anyone to take a life in the village. As he gets ready to fight, Dariel remembers that the last time he faced Alancel, Grand Mazar was there to protect him. Alancel quickly makes his way past Dariel and heads straight for Zebians, but Dariel, changing his weapon to a whip, quickly pulls Zebians out of harm's way and defends against Alancel's attack using a tile. Impressed, Alancel tells him that he never expected to meet anyone who was blessed with all four attributes like him and tells Dariel to join him in defeating the demons, but he refuses. Alancel, while using his Sky Rend, is shocked when Dariel copies it and tries to block it. Looking down at him, Alancel asks why he chooses to protect demons, and Dariel tells him that he just doesn't want anyone to get hurt. Telling him that he knows about his family, Dariel tells him that he would feel the same pain as him if Zebians got hurt since she's important to him. Asking why he's so kind to demons, Dariel tells him that he was raised by demons. Meanwhile, Grand Mazar, asking the Demon King where Dariel is, heads out to find him, remembering the best stroke of luck in his life was finding him hidden in a tree. In Lux, Dariel tells Alancel that one of the four generals, Grand Mazar, raised him for the past 30 years. Alancel, hugging Dariel, tells Dariel that he's his father since he lost him 30 years ago after Bezetin, another demon general, killed his wife. Sensing magic, Alancel suddenly attacks Grandmazar, who's standing on a cliff. Joining them, Grandmazar tells Dariel that he has gotten stronger. Alancel gets ready to fight Grandmazar, but Dariel stops him, telling him that he's still confused and that Grandmazar raised him like a father, so needs to know what he has to say. Grandmazar tells Dariel that he had his suspicions that he was a human when he couldn't use magic, but he found out about it recently himself as well, despite knowing that he wasn't able to let him go. Seeing that he's sad, Dariel thanks Grandmazar for raising him, and that he never felt unfortunate being raised by him. Loving Dariel, he tells him that he is the pride of his life and his treasure. Feeling sad, Alancel tells Grandmazar that that moment was supposed to be for him and he took it from him, and asks how he's supposed to carry this rage now. Grandmazar tells him that he can direct all the hate he has toward him since he has to atone for his associate's crimes. As they both prepare to fight and Dariel helplessly watches from a distance, Merrican douses both Alancel and Grandmazar with water, telling them not to show any hatred to their grandson, Gran, which surprises them both. Dariel, realizing what he has to do, tells Grandmazar to live in Alancel to make up for what he had lost with his grandson. As everyone gathers at their home to celebrate and Grandmazar and Alancel reconcile, Marika takes Dariel to his room and bandages up his injuries, telling him to relax and eat his medicine and dessert while she cleans up below. As soon as she leaves, Zebiance enters the room and tells him that she is quite shocked that he loves her, which confuses Dariel. Telling Dariel that she'll think about his confession, she leaves before he can elaborate on what he meant. Later, as they all gather together, Dariel asks Alancel why the humans are going after demons despite them not being bad. He tells Dariel that the humans believe the Demon King is the source of misfortune in the world, and if he's defeated, an age of peace and abundance will begin, but that's just a story. The real reason is that if the Demon King is defeated, they can steal its wisdom and power to evolve humans into a greater race. As Lady finds out that the Demon King is immortal, she tells Alancel that she will find her own answer whether to go against the demons or not, which makes Dariel happy. Suddenly, Fitabitan and Geshida rush in, telling Dariel that the mine is under attack by a monster. Quickly getting to the mine, they notice a giant fire salamandra attacking it. Asking about the knockers, Dariel dashes into the mine when he learns that they are still in there. Seeing that the knockers are alright, Alancel and Dariel combine their Skyren to knock the salamandra down. Standing right in front of it, since he feels something nostalgic, Dariel extends his hand out to it, but Salamandra simply retreats. As Dariel goes to mine to save the knockers and the other guild members, Grandmazar quickly returns to the Demon King's castle with Zebiance to see Bashbarza. Looking at his eyes, Grandmazar is shocked when he sees that he's nearly blinded in one. When he asks if entered the room of secrets to steal a hex, Bashbarza confesses, saying that he took it and made the salamander submit to him. Grandmazar asks why he can't be more like Dariel instead of wasting his potential, which throws Bashbarza over the edge. Summoning the salamandra, he tells Grandmazar that he will kill the heroes in Dariel. Meanwhile, in the mithril mine, the magical earth beast, Gigantomachia, speaks directly to Dariel, telling him that his friend Salamandra has burnt his body and that it reflects the rage of the caster. Asking for his weapon, the mine is impressed by Smith's craftsmanship, and he releases the limits placed on the mithril by him. Dariel gets contacted by Grandmazar, who tells him that Bashbarza is approaching with Salamandra to wipe out the village. Quickly evacuating the city, Dariel heads out of the village with everyone else to face Bashbarza. Seeing the ring on his hand, Bashbarza congratulates Dariel on getting married and tells him that he will kill his wife and destroy his village. Dariel, using his whip, grabs onto Salamandra's leg while Zebiance uses her wind magic to quickly bring it down. Telling everyone to handle the beast, Dariel manages to pull Bashbarza away from the village. Asking why he resents him so much, Bashbarza tells Dariel that he is first going to clear away his failures by killing him and then kill the humans and bring humanity to ruins, which will end the conflict that has been going on for centuries and will become the general of Transcendent Tempest. Attacking Dariel with a barrage of attacks, Bashbarza knocks him down. He tells Dariel that for the last year he went through hexes in the Room of Secrets until he found the one he was after and then traveled the world to find Salamandra and made it submit to him. Dariel tells him with a smile that he has worked hard and is talented and so earnest that he can't see the things around him. Telling him to die, Bashbarza hits Dariel with a magical attack, but Dariel counters it using Skyrend. As the dust clears, Dariel notices that Bashbarza's body has begun to change. As Sadom imprisons everyone, including Salamandra, into a barrier to protect the village, Alancel and Grandmazar join forces to take it down. Meanwhile, looking at Bashbarza, Dariel starts to wonder if the hex has started to affect him. Bashbarza, telling Dariel that it is infuriating to see him handle everything with a smile, starts to condense energy into a massive fireball to destroy everything. Realizing that he has to stop it, Dariel, infusing his aura into his knife, converts it into a giant blade to take him down. However, Bashbarza further changes into a monster. As he starts to attack Dariel out of pure rage, his memories start to overflow. Dariel, seeing Bashbarza's memories, realizes that he has always been alone. Seeing that his thoughts can also reach him, Dariel tells him that Grandmazar has always been worried for him. Asking how he could know how he feels, Dariel tells him about a Lancel who believed his son was stolen from him by Grandmazar. He tells him that since he couldn't use magic, the least he could do was not cause problems for Grandmazar, and all he could do was smile. Grabbing him, Dariel tells him that he will continue to support him since he's his elder brother, breaking the Hex's curse. Dariel, extending his hand out, asks Bashbarza to accept him. Bashbarza starts to reach out, however, a sharp pain shoots through his eye. Realizing that Salamander has absorbed his magic and is about to destroy everything, Bashbarza quickly returns to it and fuses with it, before taking it away from the village, knowing that he is about to die. Right at that moment, as Grandmazar stops Salamandra, Dariel manages to free him. Going back to the Demon King to atone for his actions, Bashbarza gets fired from the four generals and is banished from the realm. Returning to Lux, Bashbarza apologizes to everyone for what he had done, and Grandmazar offers his apologies as well. Seeing that Gran is awake, Dariel hands him to Bashbarza, telling him that he's his son. Seeing Bashbarza, Gran finally says his first words, calling Bashbarza out by his name. After having a portrait made of the entire family, Bashbarza starts to leave. When asked where he's going to go, Bashbarza tells them that he's going to travel the world and see what Dariel wants to see with his own eyes, which his brother Dariel holds dear.